Hey, welcome to the one-page marketing plan. So I wanted to create a marketing plan that anyone could use and wasn't so complicated as the typical marketing plans are. Because when you're getting going as a small business, and even if you're a larger business and you want to tweak your strategy, sometimes a nice quick action plan is the way to go because that can change your approach. And you don't need to think about a 30-page plan, kind of what they did in university. So I thought I'd create this one-page marketing plan, which will get you kind of thinking about your strategy. And yeah, I'm just going to go through each section and describe, what each one is about. And hopefully this will be valuable to you. Your product. So that's the first thing to consider. What is the product or service that you're trying to sell? Typically, it's either a physical item or maybe it's digital. It could be a service that you're providing to potential clients. But you want to get pretty clear on what that main product is. Of course, as you build things out, you might find you'll have more different products and services. But what's your main product that you're trying to market here? That's what we need to focus on. And that's what you'll write down. Next one, your customer. Most people do not think enough about their customer. They don't think about who their customer is and what their customer means to them and why their customer should buy from them, what their customer's interests are, and their demographics, interests about other competitors, like why do they buy from competitors. There isn't enough data that people have on their customer. And this is an opportunity for you to find out what your customer is saying and what your customer is buying. So do all those things that I say that I just mentioned there, because you'll find significant value out of those details. So find out who your customer is, write it all out, figure out why they should buy from you. If you know that and you're providing a product to them based on who they are and based on their profile, it's almost like a buyer profile you're trying to create, then you'll be much more successful because your marketing can be targeted directly to who that customer is. Your campaigns will be perfectly aligned. This, I believe, your customer is the number one most important section in this entire package because they will dictate how you'll be going about your business in the future. So if you figure out who your customer is, you'll be more successful with your efforts. Next one, competitive edge. So why should somebody choose you over a competitor? So consider what your blue ocean strategy is. And if you haven't read Blue Ocean Strategy, check out that book. It is a fantastic way to figure out how to differentiate from others. But what is it that sets you apart from everyone else? What makes you unique? What kind of experience are you providing that makes you stand out? Is your product unique? Is it you as the person? Like, what's the unique selling proposition? That's what you want to dictate. That's what you want to figure out. So write that out so that people know what it is that you're providing. Next one is messaging. So once you've kind of figured out your product, customer, and your competitive edge, now we can put that all together in kind of a messaging area so that you're speaking the same language across your social media, your website, everything. And your messaging is key. So we want to make sure that whether you're lighthearted or you're playful or you're entertaining, like if that's sort of the messaging, whether you're a brand or you're trying to build this business and trying to build some sort of an image for it, your messaging should be fairly standardized across the board. Because if you start having these outbursts on Twitter, then hey, that might not work for you. I mean, unless you're Donald Trump, then it works great because then you'll probably get a bunch of followers. But I don't know if those are the followers you would want. Are those the kinds of people that would be buying from you? I don't know. I don't think it would be. But you want to kind of tweak the messaging so that you are really tailored to the kind of person that you'd want, so that you align well with that person, so they would like understand where you're coming from. And if you're confused all over the place with your messaging, then it's really important to have sort of a guideline as to how you would go about doing that. Pricing. So typically with pricing, it's such a challenging strategy because it really depends on what kind of service you're offering here, or what product you're offering, or if you have an app, what kind of pricing structure you have there. So let's just look at kind of like a universal strategy for pricing in terms of a brand in particular. What you'd want to do is you'd actually want to have a free item that you give away. Actually, I've talked about this in a previous podcast and in other areas, but you want to give something away for free. That's sort of the beginning of your sales funnel. So I feel like every company should be a freemium company, meaning they need to have some sort of a free offering, and then they have tiered pricing depending on the level that they want to go for clients and whatnot. But yeah, you want to have that free item. That's going to be important, because what happens is you can get a following that way. If you're giving a free book, guide, course, toolkit, checklist, what have you, people are going to sign up. They're going to want to check it out, and it's the beginning of your nurturing campaign, right? Because then your next approach could be, hey, check out my ebook. You might want to buy it. That's your $9.99 strategy. Charge based on what the market's saying, and then you might want to move up to like a course, which is it could be $99. Figure out what your pricing is for all these items. Maybe you do coaching, $500 an hour, so you can set up these structures. And the pricing is really dependent on value, right? What is the value that you're providing in these pieces? Is it unique? Is it so unique that people will pay for it, and they'll pay significantly? So you want to kind of figure that out and not base it on so much what the market's saying, but maybe even more on the value. Yes, the market is important and it does help dictate the price, but if you focus on the value, then you might be able to charge a bit more. And that's going to be really important to consider. If you're like a web design firm, you could have like 3 columns, easy web package, medium package, and VIP package. And in the pricing, you have all the benefits, right? Pricing shouldn't be the number one thing to focus on. It should be all the different benefits and the value that somebody would get from choosing you. Then your pricing can go up. I don't believe in having the pricing as something that's like low, a low price, because that's kind of a race to the bottom. But again, depending on your strategy, maybe that's your strategy. That's something to really look at. You could be the premium one, or you could be the low one, low discount provider like Walmart, premium like Burberry, or kind of the medium end like H&M and whatnot, and the private label brands. So just depends on what you're trying to go for here, but that's something to really look into. Web updates. So what you want to look at with your marketing plan is, if you're thinking of doing web updates, maybe writing those out and saying, is this something that's important? If you have a current website, awesome. You might want to change this to just website and how you want it to be laid out. You want to discuss your landing pages. What are you driving traffic to? And, what are your conversions like? What's the time on your site? How long are people spending on your site? Are people converting? Are people leaving your site without visiting other sites? Is your website fast? Probably the most important update to your website should be speed, right? Because if your speed for the website is slow, then what happens is people will leave your site and won't even check you out. You'll lose a ton of conversions. And actually, Amazon did quite a few studies on this, and they found that a few percentage points in one direction can have a huge impact on the amount of sales you have on your business. So if you're in the online world, having a fast website is critical. And I might do a video just outlining page speed because I think that could be really important down the road. So one thing to really consider here is to really optimize the website so that you improve the experience. That's probably the most critical thing that you get out of this is you're improving the experience, and customers really value that. They want a good user experience. And if it's not there, then they will leave. Your website's almost like a product. So you really would want to consider having a fantastic, fast website. So definitely get it updated. If it's not mobile friendly, you'll want to make the adjustments to make it mobile friendly. We're in the day and age where every website needs to be mobile friendly. So if you don't have it set up that way, definitely approach it. And if you need help with that, then there's plenty of guides out there, or you need one-on-one help, happy to assist. Just connect with me. 1 year priority. So this is kind of around the goal setting. Like, what's your objective for your company? What's your mission, vision? Do you have these statements written out? Your elevator pitch? What are the things that you, like all this stuff that you're trying to kind of foresee in the future? That's what you want to look at. How many visitors do you want on your website? How many customers do you want? How many leads generated? You want these numbers written out so that it's important. And we'll go into more depth with KPIs coming up, but the 1 year priority is what kind of success do you want to see? What does that look like for you? That's what you want to figure out for the next year. Projected sales. After all the campaigns you're about to create, what are your projected sales? Then actually, that's a good point. Is in the 1 year priority, you'll want to talk about campaigns. Like that's important. So campaigns, trade shows, anything that you're going to be doing, types of advertising. But based on all of that, what kind of projected sales do you foresee, and why? Why do you think you'll be getting those? Like, do you have historical data that says that that's what's going to happen? And if you don't have historical data, it might be difficult to determine projected sales, but you could probably calculate it based on how many visitors, how many conversions, and whatnot. So that's something to consider. KPIs. The most critical is like number of qualified leads generated. Like, what is that number? And what is the value of each lead? Do you know what the value of each lead is? Because that'll be critical. What's your revenue per email marketing campaign? What's your revenue per trade show? Do you have promo codes attached to everything? Do you have promo codes attached to your giveaways on social media? Are you tracking all of this? And you can do it much easier than ever before. I mean, if you're sending out a direct mail advertisement, you can add a code in the bottom that tracks anytime somebody uses that code. Find out how successful your direct mail campaign is. And plenty of KPIs to definitely look at. Definitely recommend reading Conversion Code, and I'll include a link in the description which will outline some of the KPIs that are out there, and I think that could really help you out with your marketing plan, because they have some really specific KPIs that would be really helpful for you to check out. Your budget. Do you know how much you're going to be spending on these campaigns? And how about the time? Even consider your time budget if you're a sole proprietor. How much time are you going to be spending on this? And consider your budget. Your team is your budget. How much are you going to be spending to have them on your team? So that's what I've got for you here in this very simple one-page marketing plan. I really hope that this kind of helps you out, and I know that it it just makes things much simpler when you're not drilling into a 30-page plan, but you're more focusing on this one pager with very clear sections, like breaking it all out. That way you can refer to this daily if you need to, and maybe not daily, but monthly, so that you're on track. But there you go. I hope you find value, and if you do, please subscribe, share, follow, and yeah, check out my other videos. Thanks.